Welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. Just wanted to put an end to this debacle from last night. I wanted to say thanks to Matt Green for being so gracious to take off the video. It was just that I had concerns that people might watch it and think that this is an okay repair, which obviously it isn't. It's very dangerous. I mean, if some poor sod ends up having the car or has an accident with somebody else. Anyway, I think there's enough said on that. But one of the things that this has brought up, I think that it highlights the point that, you know, YouTube is a great thing. It's a powerful tool, and there is a lot of crap on YouTube. Of course there is, and we all look. We live in a world where reality shows are all over. They're very cheap TV. That's why companies do it. And I get caught up in looking at these things as well. But there is a lot of rubbish out there, but there's a lot of good stuff and a lot of good information. But the one thing I wanted to say about this particular issue, what it has raised, is that as people that are doing YouTube videos and putting up information, I think it's important that we check ourselves and think about what information we're giving out. And I think a good example of this is DB DIY, Mini DIY. Now DB, when he does a video, not only does he shoot it very well and the content is excellent, but he actually does research and he checks out the facts to make sure that they are correct. And this is something we can all learn, all of us. I do it myself. Sometimes I say things off the top of my head and they're actually sometimes inaccurate, sometimes they're correct, sometimes they're not. But I think this is a bit of a warning, and we should all try and think about what we're putting out. You know, at the end of the day, people are watching these videos and thinking that what we're saying is correct, and that's not always the case. So anyway, I'm doing a video today. The one you're going to see now is the Bonnet Jig, which I built some time ago. Now I'm moving it on to Nigel. I'm going to take it back to England with me, but obviously the way it is now, it's solid, and I obviously can't transport it like that. So I'm going to make it so that it's collapsible and he can put it back together. So this Bonnet Jig, this is going to go with the E-Type. I'm going to pass it on to Nigel because he's not going to be painting the car straight away. It'll probably be over some months, if not in the middle or the end of the year. And obviously the bonnet needs to be taken apart and each section painted separately, because there's bits you can't get into. It's the only way to do it properly. To get the paint into everything. So you paint all the inside and then put the bonnet back together, which is why he needs the jig. And obviously I can't transport it the way it is now because I made it just to stay here in Austria. So what I'm going to do now, I'll come behind the camera and I'll show you what I'm going to do. It's basically, if you look down onto this piece here in the corner, you can see what I want to do there. I'll show you. What I want to do there now is take off. I can either cut it here through the weld, or I can cut it back here, which is what I'll probably do, is cut it back here and then use this piece, which will fit inside here, and then I'll make 4 extensions, 2 for this bar and 2 for that bar, so that these will be able to lay flat on their end. So as you can see from here, what I've done now is basically cut the top off these I made them all 10 centimeters long, and these will be the couplings. 10 centimeters. These will be the couplings to go in between those bars. So in fact, if you look there, you can see that will fit nicely in there, and I'll weld them in place, and these will become the box sections. Then what we'll do is one side will be welded in, and the other side, this is the wrong piece, but the other side will slide in and there'll be a bolt to go through them. So I'll get all these made up and then I'll come back. So you can see from here, I've put one of the box sections inside, and you can see where I've cut it, and you can see that's out. So this bit will be welded into this side, and this piece there'll be a bolt through here. So basically I can pull that out, and that piece will go on the inside. You can see how that will fit. And then let's just pull it back, lined up, and there it goes. So you can see here from that last little clip what I was doing. So basically they're all set up and they're ready to go. They're pretty tight. They're tight even without the bolts in them. And what I've done there is actually cut this hole with a plasma cutter, and now what I'll do is weld here and weld on the back here, so I can get a good penetration weld. Good penetration weld in there, and then everything lines up really nice. And then I'll redo all these welds as well, because there's only 2 arms on it. I wanted to make sure it's nice and tight, the fit. That's not welded yet, but it's absolutely solid. So on to the next project. So as you can see, we've got both the wings on. We've not put these wings on actually to get them lined up. We put them on because what we want to do is make sure, because of the new lower valance here, we want to make sure all these holes line up, which they don't in there, if you can see. So this is the reason we put them on, so we can mark them and get everything in line. This particular bonnet has no spaces in it whatsoever, and you can see obviously there's a massive problem there on the edge there. But that's no issue, because it's the air boxes inside which will dictate the shape on the bonnet and the roundness of it. But these are some spaces. These are new ones from SMG Barrett. These were some original ones from my car. You can see even big, quite big, thick ones, and they go actually there into these hinges, so you can have them in the front and you can have them actually underneath in there. This has got none in it at the moment, so we can space this out quite a bit, and strangely enough you would think it would be fairly even, but in most cases there's either one more on one side than there is on the other. But so this is what we're going to do. This is the reason we put it on, is just so we can get these bowl holes lined up, and we can mark them and decide where we have to cut, because they need to be elongated. And then what I'll do is I'll actually take the wings back off. But again, you can see the wings are quite nice on it. The area is rough on it because we had to spray it inside that little tent, and it's really not an area for doing it. So when he comes back, we'll take it off, we'll sandblast the inside, and then put the right angles on it, so we can actually rebuild the whole bonnet back up again. But yeah, we're getting there slowly, surely. And this week I'll do some work on this. This is some of the little lead popping through here. You can see it looks like it's filler. It's actually lead, solid. So what we'll do is the lead's obviously dropped through as it's got hot. So we'll clean all this up, and then I'm going to re-cork all this area along here and cork everything before it gets its final coat, and then we can start working on the doors. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Summer. I hope you enjoyed the video. I got a comment from Piper Doug, and I don't know if you'd be interested or not, but he mentioned it might be quite a nice idea to do like a little Q&A with Amir and myself, probably next week when he comes back, because he's got a very interesting background, Amir, and because before he came to me he was involved with clearing landmines in Bosnia. Quite a dangerous job, as you can imagine. Not quite, a very dangerous job. And a colleague of his, just after he came and started working for us, was killed on the same team. But if you're interested, please write some, if you have any questions for the pair of us, and we'll do a sit down and go over the questions. The ones you have for him, I'll ask him, and the ones you have for me, he can ask me. So anyway, if you've got any questions about anything really that we're up to, or how we got to this point, or so on and so forth, where we're both from and all that kind of stuff, just drop us a comment, let us know, and I'll make a list up. Anyway, thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe. Bye.